What if I told you that dozens of Canadians have completely opted out of the debt cycle? Not by winning the lottery, not by inheriting land, not by some financial hack, but by walking into the wilderness and building their lives from scratch. I spent months tracking them down, talking to them, asking the questions most people are too afraid to ask. What I found changed the way I think about money, freedom, and what a life can actually look like. Welcome back. On this channel, we explore the lifestyle and travel choices that most people quietly wonder about but never seriously investigate. In this video, we're going deep into the remote Canadian wilderness to answer one of the most searched questions I receive. What does it actually look like to live completely debt-free, off the grid, on your own terms? Not the Instagram version. The version real people are actually living. Let's get into it. Let's be honest about where most people are starting from. According to recent reports, the average Canadian carries tens of thousands of dollars in personal debt, not including mortgages, student loans, car payments, credit lines just to cover groceries. And the system is not designed to get you out. It is designed to keep you in. Society hands us a script from birth. Get educated, get employed, get a mortgage, retire. And if you dare question that script, if you ask whether there is another way, people look at you like you have said something dangerous. But here is what I kept finding in my research. There are people living extraordinary, deeply fulfilling lives in the Canadian backcountry. People who have opted out of that cycle entirely. No rent, no mortgage, no credit card minimum, no boss. The challenge is real. Every single person I spoke to was clear about that. There is cold, there is isolation, there is hard physical work every single day. But the question one of them put to me stuck with me. She said, compared to what? Compared to 40 years of debt servitude? Compared to burnout? Compared to a life that never quite felt like yours? I did not have a good answer. So what does debt-free wilderness living actually look like day to day? Here is what the people I interviewed described. Shelter. One man in northern Ontario built his primary structure using reclaimed timber and natural materials. No contractor, no permit fees on remote Crown land. His total material cost? Under $2,000. That is not a typo. Food. A family in the BC interior grows, forages, and hunts the majority of what they eat. Preservation is everything. Fermenting, drying, cold cellaring. Once you understand seasonal eating, they told me, food costs drop to near zero. Energy. Solar panels, a small wind turbine, a backup wood gasifier. One woman in the Yukon described a setup that cost around $3,000 up front. And she has not paid a utility bill since. Income. Because yes, some cash still moves through these lives. Seasonal remote consulting, selling preserved goods, occasional wilderness guiding. Enough to cover what the land cannot provide. But income on their terms, on their schedule. And here is the thing that surprised me most in every conversation. These people are not surviving. They are thriving. Lower stress. Sharper purpose. And, almost universally, they said they finally sleep. One story stayed with me more than any other. A woman I will call Marie, she asked to stay anonymous, described her third winter in the backcountry. February, -32 at night. 6 months earlier she had been in the city, drowning in a $40,000 debt spiral she could not see the bottom of. Panic attacks. Insomnia. That specific kind of dread, she said, where you open your banking app and just close it again. That February night, she was sitting by the wood stove, listening to the trees crack in the cold. The silence was absolute. And she realized, for the first time in maybe her entire adult life, she did not owe anyone anything. Not a cent. Not a favor. Not an apology for existing. She told me. That is not a small thing. That is everything. I heard versions of that same moment. That same realization, from every single person I spoke to, from the BC interior to Northern Ontario to the Yukon, their stories differed. That feeling did not. The wilderness, they kept telling me, does not just give you land. It gives you back yourself. Living debt-free in the Canadian wilderness is not easy. But according to the people who have done it, neither is spending the rest of your life working to pay off a life you never chose. The wilderness asks something real of you, and in return, it gives you something real back: time, freedom, and the quiet knowledge that you can take care of yourself. For a growing number of Canadians, that is the best trade they have ever made. Now I want to hear from you. Is debt-free wilderness living something you have thought about? Would you actually do it? Or does it sound like a beautiful nightmare? Drop your honest answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this resonated, subscribe to Travel Sage. We go deep on the kind of lifestyle choices most channels will not touch. Hit the notification bell so you never miss what is coming next. Until next time, spend less, live more. See you out there.